Hello. I love saying hi because I feel like I have so much energy when I say hi. So, hi. Um, I was sitting here thinking about how I was going to start this video off and like what my main topic was going to be. And I got stuck here for a little bit because my main thing that I wanted to talk about is how we can sabotage our friendships and push the people away that are possibly able to help us, and how we don't see it in that moment. So I'm not sure. There's a lot of topics I'm going to touch on. That's why I'm like, I know I've said in my other videos, I feel like I talk about so many things, but I never really just fully go into one thing because there's just so many facets to this. There's so many ways that it's all intertwined and weaved together. So, I did have my book. It's over there. Hold on. Okay. All right. So, um, self sabotage. And I just want to focus on, because we could self sabotage in so many ways, but I wanted to really just stay focused on like our friendships, our portal to speaking our truths, to understanding things, having another perspective, not being judged, people that we feel safe around. In my midst of my notes of self sabotage, I came across my little section. I tried sectioning things off and I put friends. And I put, do you feel like they're getting tired of you and your stories? And I remember a few friends that were close to me. I'm not the most social butterfly. I am at work, right, in social settings, but when it comes to my personal life, I like to just have a small group of people that I trust. So I did. I had a very small group, and I eventually stopped reaching out because I felt as though I was a pain in the ass, excuse my French. And I felt like every time I vocalized what was going on, it was pretty much the same stuff every time. And, after a while, it seems a little redundant and a little frustrating for our friends to stay in our life when we go through these things, and we're being isolated, we're lonely. So I just want to mention, when I thought about making this video, I thought about how wonderful it would be for the friends of people who go through these things to kind of get a perspective from where we're coming from and how it's not intentional. Because I feel like a lot of times people get really upset and they'll say, oh, well, I tried helping her, or I tried this or I tried that, and they never listen. What is this, a competition? I'm still here, still dealing with the same stuff. Now you're just mad at me, or now you're just frustrated with me. So it's very hard for people to understand where you come from when you're going through things like this, why we react the certain ways that we do. So I just kind of wanted to shed a little insight on that. And then I wrote, you close them out on your own, which I just discussed, how we can close them out because of fear of acknowledging the fact that nothing's changed. And, we keep kind of saying the same things over and over, and it can continuously be a bad thing. So it's, we're valid in our feelings and we want to express them to our friends. We want to kind of get it out. But, we're still allowing it because it's still happening, and I allowed it for a very long time. I can only see it now because I'm not in it, but I was in it for a very long time. So I get it. It's hard. So if your friends, when you shut them out, pursue you, I know that I had some friends like that knew me better and was kind of like, hey, I know it's been a couple days. I'm not taking it personal, but, how are you? What's going on? How you feeling? And again, I would clam up, just close right up. And it's like, oh no, they didn't forget about me. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to, it's like this fear comes over. I keep saying us, but I can only speak for me. So I'm saying us, okay? I'm talking about me for us. If you resonate, you do. And then I wrote, if they pursue you, you close up and feel the similar feeling you would when your narcissist would do their hovering or their push behavior. And I remember when I recognized that in myself, I almost projected the feelings that I had in my situation that made me feel unsafe, made me feel guilty, and all those wonderful words that are of negativity. And I would project them pretty much on my friends unknowingly. Like I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I took concern as I was a little scared of that. I was a little scared when people that I really cared for became concerned, because I didn't want them to really understand what I was going through. Okay, here I am, where I am, like my mind is thinking 50 things. So with the isolation that occurs in these type of situations, when you do isolate yourself and you self-sabotage by, not discussing things with friends and family, closing yourself off from people that you're, before this situation, you were, very close to. And when you do that, you are at the narcissist's will. They have your full energy supply. And I know anybody who's dealt with this can relate to deciding to no longer go to functions. You're tired of people asking questions. I know that I would always go to everything by myself. And it was like, oh, I don't want to fucking go to that shit, blah, blah, blah. And I hated going, because every time I'd go, it'd be like, hey, why are you here by yourself? Or you're like, oh, God, So, yeah, it's an isolating feeling. And I wanted to touch on what we experience in the behaviors that we allow when we're in these type of situations. It keeps us quiet in so many ways. And I wanted to just talk about something that I noticed in myself. And I'm hoping that someone can relate. I'm sure somebody can. Is that I was scared to share my truth with abuse that I've experienced by allowing someone in my life to do me wrong continuously. So it's a very hard thing to come to terms with, because, once you understand that and you come to terms with that, you realize that you really were in control of what you allowed. And I know this doesn't fall under every category, and I just kind of want to make a little disclaimer about that, because there are things that happen that are completely out of our control, and I've been there as well. So I just want to say that I'm not discrediting people who had something happen and they didn't have control over it. It's a different type of isolation, excuse me, or incident that you're scared that someone else will do. I remember I didn't really want to discuss very specifics about things, because it was basically telling that other person that, this is what I allowed. And I was scared that others would do the same thing to me. I didn't think that people had this genuine side of them. And it wasn't intentional that I thought that. It was just out of my life, like what I was living subconsciously. I didn't trust. I didn't trust that people had good intentions. And if they did, it was very short-lived. And I believed that for a long time. And that in itself kept me very quiet, because it was almost like, oh my gosh, who else is a villain? Who else does this that people don't know about? Right? Because there's that saying, you never know what goes on behind closed doors. And it's true, especially with covert narcissists. They're like their own little category. But, those are the ones who are really good at playing the role of being a wonderful person. They're very concerned with what their image is. From the outside looking in, people are like, what? No way, not him or not her. So it's all, excuse me, French bullshit. And that's your covert narcissist. Those are the hardest for people to get away from, because everybody kind of believes what this person says. I know I personally was not on a campaign of smearing my partner when I left. I just wanted to leave as quietly as possible. But it doesn't mean that that person wasn't on a smear campaign, and he was. And, this is again where your resilience and your self control really comes into place, and understanding that regardless of what other people think about you, you have to know your own truth. So it's very important to find your truth, because it can be very hurtful what people do, what people say, what they believe. And then you don't want to get wrapped up into this thing where you're trying to have people see things from your point of view, or people to understand, why you had to do what you had to do. It's nobody's fucking business. Sorry, but it really isn't. It's nobody's fucking business why you decide to make the changes that you need to make. As long as you lead with those decisions in your purest intentions for yourself and everybody around you. That's what I always tell myself. I know at the end of the night, when I lay my head on my pillow, I'm the only one that has to deal with the consequences of the actions that I made throughout that day. So I always just try to be true to myself and say that, everything that I do, I try to just do it with the purest intentions within myself, to not harm anybody, and to not bring any type of distress along my path in my life, my day-to-day life. And, so for any friends out there that know that their friend or loved one is in an abusive relationship, and you feel like you're kind of beating a dead horse at this point, don't give up on them. Now that I'm out of my situation, I'm not as close to the people who were really my backbone at one point, that I think I did this exact thing too, and I kind of pushed them away unknowingly. And, I remember when I felt very, very alone. I know these people still love me as my friends, because, there's bonds with them that are very deep. And I still didn't feel as though I was worthy enough to reach out, because I didn't feel like I held up my side of the bargain the way I should have as a friend that was receiving help, or what someone was trying to give me help. So just don't give up on your friends, and know not to take it personal. A lot of times when someone is in this situation, you can have the answer right in front of your face and you just don't see it. It's like being in a fog. And I want to say a quick analogy. I see the time ticking away and it's making me nervous. But an analogy that I kind of thought about life in this is, when you're a kid and it's like fire prevention week, and they teach you about all these things, what to do when it's a fire. And they have those kind of tunnels or rooms, depending on what your town is like, but it's filled with smoke, and you're supposed to get down on the floor and crawl and make your way out. And they teach you that so you're prepared and you don't react out of fear. And that's how I look at life. Life is always going to have that fog up on the top layer of stuff, and you could just like walk through, or you could be proactive and bend down, take your time and crawl out. And it's all about your mindset before you walk in. That smoke is always going to be high up there, and you just have to bend down. Sounds so crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, you get where I'm going with this. Anyway, okay, so it's 14 minutes. So yes, if you know someone that can benefit from hearing what I had to say, if you're that person that's in this situation and you related to what I said, please send this to your friends. And if you are that friend, just know that you have to show them love. You have to show them compassion. They're very damaged. They're very hurt, and they're going to have a long road ahead of them. And they're really going to need people like you to be by their side. It's a very lonely recovery out of abusive situations. And it can really mean saving someone's life, in all honesty. I'm being honest. So I want to thank you for watching my video, my 15-minute video, and I send you a lot of love and strength and light. My love is genuine, and I don't have to know you to tell you that I love you, that you're a strong person. We're all here for beautiful things in this world, and I hope that you're able to share that every single day, that beauty that's inside you, that love that's inside of you. And I thank you very, very much. Don't forget to subscribe, like my video, comment if you can relate. I appreciate it all, and I love it all. So I love you. Thank you. Bye.